A Conversation with Dee Shields is a summer series that I like to run where we have excellent conversation with some phenomenal people. Our guest today, founder of Revelence Media, and I am excited because Porsha Monique, we followed her career over the years. I know I've been following since the pandemic, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to be able to talk to her. You guys, you know her from many different platforms. We are going to get right into the discussion of who she is and not waste too much time of the busiest woman in the land, as I like to call her. So, Portia, tell us, where are you from? I want to just talk a little bit about yourself and growing up.
Absolutely. So first off, thank you so much, Dee, for having me on your platform. We go way back to our rolling out AM wake up call days. And so during COVID, we started a morning show and it ran for a couple years. It was really good too. We I don't know why we didn't bring it back, but it was good. And so, long story short, Dee used to chime in all of the time. We had just a good old family time with people in the chat and talking about modern day stuff and things that was happening. And of course, I think we started during the George Floyd time. So nonetheless, I'm just taking us back to the connection that we had. And
Right.
so it's such a pleasure to be speaking with you again. And then there was one time that we did meet in person too. And
In
so
Denver, Colorado.
in Denver, Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So excited to be here with you. So again,
Thank
thank you for
you.
having me. But you know what? A lot of people don't necessarily know that I am originally from the Bay.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so born and raised in the Bay, and I moved to Detroit for high school. So once I came to Detroit, went to the one and only Cass Tech High
Yes.
School,
Okay.
second to none here in
Okay.
Detroit,
Okay.
world renowned.
Okay.
And then I went down south to school. I went to Grambling, came back, did some grad
Wow.
school. Yeah,
Okay.
HBCU is in full
Yeah.
effect.
Right.
Came back,
Exactly.
did some grad school, and I'm still here. So
Yeah, and just phenomenal in that. And it's that HBCU touch. There is nothing like it. I am envious every time I hear these stories, you know. When it comes to your field, what it is that you do, can you tell me more about that and just kind of lead us into what it is that your current field that you're in?
absolutely. So I am in media and I'm a journalist. And again, that's how we kind of met doing the online um, morning AM wake up call. And so media was my second act. So I didn't come from that. I came from IT world, automotive world, very boring, very
Yeah,
non-creative, very mundane.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's a switch.
It really is. And I
Mhm.
would say this and I would tell this to anyone who was watching, especially the young people, don't chase a check. Like a lot of people say that it may sound cliche, but at the end of the day, don't chase a check. Because when you chase a check, you end up doing some things that you may not want to do, which may not align with your values and your morals, your standards, your creativity level. And so that's what I did. I was chasing a check. We were straight throughout the years, having a corporate gig is nothing to be slept on.
It's steady and it's a guarantee every morning. Yeah.
I mean, we were real suburban. Never went without, always had. That's probably my kids' issue to this day.
I can relate.
Because they
I
ain't
can
really have to
relate. Don't
struggle.
know how to be
They
without.
they wasn't on the school bus. They didn't have to take a
Exactly.
city bus. They didn't have to walk. So anyway, all that to say, don't chase a check. And media was my second act. And so I ended up falling into it after doing some events here in the Detroit area. I always had a moonlight gig, right? So um I started a company, the Experience Events Management Group, and from there, we would produce events, and I would assist and help out and show up, and still get
Yeah.
paid for some of
Okay.
the work that I was doing. But it was at one of those events that I met the founder of Rolling Out,
Right, right.
and through that chance encounter, we ended up working together. So I worked my way up through that organization while I was still at corporate. I
That
moonlit,
what a start into
girl. Yes, I
this.
moonlit the hell out of that damn. Because I think I started in 2016, 2015, 2016.
Right.
And I didn't end up leaving my corporate gig until right before COVID. So
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I love when you take the chance, and that's what I want to inspire people, that's what you inspire me to do. Like, we had a conversation once, and it's like, if it's not you, just go for it and be consistent with it. And it was this consistency message that I didn't hear until 2025, but I heard you when it was time to hear me, when it was time to hear you, and it's working,
yeah.
but it was the consistency message you gave me. Yeah.
It really is the consistency part. And that's the hardest part for people because, we want to do what we want to do. And discipline is very difficult to develop, especially as adults, right?
Right.
If we just develop the good habits, then discipline comes naturally. But if we don't have those good habits ingrained from like childhood, then it's really a concerted effort
Exactly.
to be consistent. And it's
Exactly.
one of the easiest things to do.
And once you get the discipline of it all, everything falls in place. But we fear that. I have no idea why we fear that. So, speaking of that discipline and the consistency, who inspires you? Where did you get this from?
So, I was trying to share my link, y'all. I was trying to share my link on my stories, but I'll share it in a second. So, when it comes to inspiration, like I do it for my family, right? So, my kids, my mom, my future grandkids, because at this juncture, you be like, go ahead, live your life. Talking about your kids, just
Exactly.
bring me mine back, bring me my grandkids back. But I do it for my family, to create the memories, to create the legacies, to create the generational wealth, to leave a legacy. So that's who I do it for, my family. Like, if you
Yeah.
can't create memories in this life, then what are you doing? Like, I live to create memories. So I'm very intentional about my memory making process. So
Yes.
yeah.
I've seen some of the memories that you've made on social media. Inspirational definitely makes me click through my bucket list and say, no, do more, because you are living your best life. I think you're even traveling today, like literally
Uh,
living your best
I'm
life.
traveling tomorrow.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm
Like, that is
traveling tomorrow.
literally the constant travel is
Yeah.
we don't want to just sit. We need to live. So I'm inspired by that.
Listen, travel is wealth. Travel is health. Like, for me at least, like, that has to be something that I am doing
Right.
because, that's how and when you think back to it, like, as a kid, we lived for field trips. Like, these are our field trips. And so we
Yeah.
should be going on field trips as much as we can.
Yep, exactly. Now, I want, if you will, to explain your creative process. You've kind of done so with the consistency and the discipline that is, but if you would like to share, would you tell us your creative process?
So absolutely. So I'm an extremist, right? So I have to go to one extreme or another. And so either I have to get extremely focused first, right? So I'll set a vision and then create a plan. I'll do some research. Um, but I have to be really, really focused by myself first. And then I'll pull the trigger to make sure that I'm pulling someone in, because the other extreme to being really focused and by myself first is that I am really productive when I collaborate and create with other people. But I have to have a vision first, right? So I have to know what it is that I want. I got to think about it. I got to write it down. I got to see it. I got to
Yeah,
visualize it. And
I
then
like that.
once I'm there and I have a direction of where it is that I want to go, then I'll call somebody in. And you can't just call nobody, like, or anybody. You have to call people that have ideas, other creative people, or people that have specific interests and expertise. Because
Exactly.
you ask the wrong person, they're gonna kibosh that idea.
Yeah.
And
Or give you their vision of tear that down so that you don't
right,
continue.
right, and depending where you are mentally, like you may just tear it down and be like, "That's okay, I'll do
Exactly.
something else." So that's why it's extremely important to me to get extremely focused, to hone in on what it is that I want to do, and then be collaborative and call other people in. So
Exactly. I like that part as well. And an average day, like for you, Mrs. Ashton Hall, as I like to call her, because you've already been to the gym by the time I get up for my morning walk. So,
baby, let me tell you something. That's the best
period.
part of my day. So it really is the best part of my day. And I try to tell people that, they like, now it's not fun. It's not this, it's not that. Health is wealth at the end of the day. And I like to start my days with working out extremely early.
Right.
Sometimes I'll be late. If y'all
You're earlier than most of us because we're not getting out there walking till 9 or 10, looking at Porsche like, what? It's been up since 5 a.m.
my trainer is always upset because I'll try, I'm trouncing about 5:03. Today was 5:03, and he just kind of looked at me like, girl. But I like to start my days early, so that I can be productive, right? And it differs from day to day, but what I used to do, and this is work for me, and I still kind of do it. I just kind of morphed it into not Pilates, but just working out. But I used to do praise, pray, and Pilates. So
Okay.
wake up.
I like
First thing you do is thank God for another day, family, health, wealth, strength, all of that. Then you pray and you ask for what it is that you want. And you be very clear about that vision that you set. And then it was Pilates for me because I would do home workouts and I would just roll onto the floor and do my little
There you
Pilates before I
go.
did anything else, right? So now it's the praise, and the gym.
Okay.
And so I'll just get up and go to the gym. And I hit the gym probably 5 to 6 days a week. It's more like five. So I'll go like Tuesday through Saturday. And then,
Okay.
I might walk or do something extra. And during my on my way to the gym, I go live. And so I give a message of the day.
That's good.
And it's whatever inspires me, whatever comes to mind, whatever I'm reading, I might say something from that. But today's message of the day was workout. It was basically do something for you
For
every
yourself.
day.
Yeah.
Do something for you every day as it pertains to working out. And I started with the message of we got 10 days, ladies.
I heard it. I was like, okay, I hear you. I'm talking to the phone at your video. Like, I hear you.
D,
You bad. Oh my God.
D, we have 10 days.
10 day. And we've been at this all year long. And then the pressure of it is like, it's here.
It's
It's here.
here. But the
It's here.
good thing about that is you can still start with where you are and continue and just take the next step. A lot of the times we think we have to have this extensive ass plan that's rolled out and it's in cut up in quarters and it goes for 5 years. This is my first year, third year, 5 year plan. No, at the end of the day, you take the next step. Take the
Yeah.
next step. The next step
Yeah.
is like I suggested in the video, like if you have challenges with eating healthy or drinking, water,
Right. Exactly.
choose not to drink your calories. Like cut
It,
the pop
and
out.
cut those calories. When you said that I was like, you know what? You don't remember because you talk to people and you're talking to people all the time. But I remember a lot of things that you said during rolling out. I am that fan in your comments, always asking you questions, and you were nice enough to answer me. And you said, stay ready. And that's what made me get on my healthy journey. I am 50 pounds down. 10 of those I did by myself. The rest of that I had to
Girl,
do with the help of Manjaro. But I mean, it was really like, how are you going to get ready for 2025? a year ago, I decided to prepare for 2025 by just taking myself seriously and getting ready. And it was that
Dee,
advice that you said, stay ready, D. And I was like,
Dee,
okay,
I
we're
am
gonna stay
so
ready.
proud of you. Look, I had to find my button for you. Listen, I am
Yeah, I
so
mean, I'm
proud of
excited. I'm
you.
excited, you guys. Look, listen, I have and getting used to all of this, like trying to figure out what's my look because it's been 20 years since being in the body under 200. So it's
Wow.
trying to get used to that
Yeah.
because I got really comfortable with being the plus size widow that felt bad for herself. But yeah,
Girl,
yeah.
listen, I have chills. Like, I am so extremely happy and proud of you
Thank you.
for taking that step. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, if you stay ready,
yeah.
baby, you
It's
don't have
just
to get
helping. Now
ready.
it's like I was like, the rate I'm going to have 100 pounds off by next year. I'm too excited. Like I'm just the consistency and the goal is stay ready. So when you're ready,
Because when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
that's
Like,
it.
it
That's
really is
exactly
a
what you
thing,
said.
ladies.
That's literally what you said a few years ago. And it's
Yes.
that. It's that. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take up too much time. Okay, listen. Is there a hidden meaning in any of your work? And then I want you to share a career story if you have time.
Girl, it's no secret. So I'm rooting for everybody black at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Like, I started Revelance Media as an ode to sharing and telling black stories. So Revelance is a mix of we revel in excellence, right? So we're reveling in excellence. And so I like to tell and share the stories of people who are living excellently, who are about excellence, who have a roadmap or a blueprint, and they can show us the way. Because I just don't think that those type of people get enough shine. Like, we all look at the celebrities, we all know who they are, we
Right.
idolize them, and we say, "Oh,
Right.
we want to do this and we want to do that." And what does it take to fly in a private jet
Yeah.
and
Yeah. All that
go
stuff.
take the shopping sprees and
Yeah.
oversee and then you see the curtain is pulled back.
And you see who actually makes it all happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you like, I really don't
Reality.
want that life.
Exactly. And then you realize that's what God was protecting me from. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially that particular one that he's a big deal right now. God really saved me from a moment. I'll share that another day. Okay, so do you collaborate with others? And if so,
I
you know,
so I will, right, but there has to be a mutual benefit, especially right now where I am in the building phase of building my newfound career. And so I do want to say this because I don't think I said it at the top of the show. I started out with rolling out back in the day. We separated ways last
okay.
year. It was last May.
Mhm.
And then now I'm back. So I'm probably full back.
Yes. And I
Uh,
wanted to share that part of your story, but I said no, that's for
no,
her to share. Yeah.
no. Yeah. So probably a cool total of 2 weeks I've been back, but I'm in the mix, y'all.
Mhm. And
uh,
moving as if, like no one can tell, like you just
yeah.
moving as if there
Yeah.
hasn't been a break. And I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. I think there'll always be family, right? All of them, Munson Steed, Melinda, Randy, like all of the people there at Rolling Out. So I thoroughly enjoy what I do. And it's helping me to identify the things that I need to do with Revelance too, because I opened up my own media company because of where I came from, right? So the skill sets that I learned and implemented and built up, like that's what I'm using for my own platform. So I said that to say this. Um, sorry, I'm a empty nester, but my phone is ringing and this is my baby. So
I
anyway,
like it, and I'm going to stop. I know what you mean. We
yeah.
stop.
So
Everything stops when it's open.
so I will collaborate, but in this stage of the game, like it really does have to be a mutual benefit, right?
That's
And
good.
so
That's good.
if there are some things that people just want to pick your brain about because they like, can I, do you know, blah blah blah, I'll just give it to you. Like,
Yeah.
if I don't see if there is an immediate mutual benefit for both of us, right? So not just for me, but for both of us. Like whatever it is that you asked me for, I give you the blueprint, I give you the plan, I give it all to you. Here you go.
Yeah, that's good. No
Have it.
gatekeeping.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No
Love
gatekeeping
that.
over
I love
here.
that.
Right. Because a lot of the times, like, I just don't have the time
Right.
to sit and engage in a different project, program, whatever it is, event, like whatever it is. A lot of
Yeah.
times I just don't have time. But if it's mutually beneficial, I can see the benefit right away. Of course, I
Yeah.
will do it. So
And I love the dedication to your baby, because that it takes a lot. And it's, I've been, I can relate. I will say that was a shorter way of relating to that. Your supporters and your haters, how do you react, especially with social media?
so supporters, I will give them the shirt off my back. I appreciate supporters. I appreciate the comments. Keep them coming. I try to respond to any and everything that people say, whether it's positive, negative. It is what it is. On my TikTok, y'all go follow me on TikTok. I'm building my TikTok. I am Porsha Monique.
Yes.
But so on TikTok, there was this very controversial clip of an interview that I did with one of my closest friends. She calls herself a TV connoisseur. Nonetheless, we were talking about Meghan Markle, and it kind of went a little viral because people have very stark and adverse reactions to the Princess of Sussex.
I mean, they are obsessed with her.
What what lead the
They
child,
the haters are obsessed with her, and I still cannot
girl,
defend it. Yeah, I'm not
girl.
understanding that.
And
I
so,
love her, and I can't
girl,
conceive not. I
love,
just
and love her. And
She is
so
goals for me. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, she is. And so there were a lot of negative comments, and
Yeah.
people were going in. And so I tried my best to respond to both the positive and the negative. And I was just being honest. Like, you want to sit up there and talk about the child so bad and say what she's not doing, and she's an opportunist and she has a big ego, but they ain't spell it ego, they spelled it EAGLE. I'm like, girl, if you don't get out my comments.
Now look what I'm responding to. Someone you realize what level you have just lowered yourself to when you see something
Girl,
like that. Exactly.
exactly. I'm like, if you don't get out my comments, and so
Exactly.
I will dislike it. And sometimes I'll engage and go back and forth, but for my supporters, I give them the shirt off my back. I appreciate all the comments. For my haters, I will ignore the hell out of them, depending
Yeah.
on the time of the month.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had time for that hater because I'm like, girl,
Uh-huh.
you can't even spell ego right. I had to read it like 5 times. I'm like, what does an ego have to do with you? I
Yeah.
said, she is trying to say ego.
I had to learn to get very clever because Meta started saying, "You have a little smart mouth, don't you, Dee
Oh,
Shields?"
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, they kind of watch me, so I have to be clever. But sometimes I get it in. I'm going to
yeah,
say it sometimes, but I'm working on that. God's still working on me. You know.
yeah,
How do you deal with performance anxiety, if any? Because I
yeah.
have tons of it all the time.
So I think there's always going to be some level of anxiety. I think it's normal, right, to have some level of angst, some level of anxiety. Um, but what I've realized is that the level of anxiety that I have is directly related to the level of preparedness that I am.
There you go.
So if I prepare thoroughly, efficiently, effectively, wholly, I'm extremely confident in what I'm about to do. That there's still a tinge of nervousness there, but I'm coming to kick in doors. I'm like, where they at? Let's go. I'm kicking ass, I'm taking names, let's go. But
Exactly.
if I have not prepared the way that I want to, or I feel like I should have, then the nervousness and the anxiety is up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
mine does that too. If I see if I have to get in some gospel right before whatever. And that's what how I learned how to deal with social media, because I
Yeah.
get a lot. I'm in Texas, so I get a lot of hate for. That's why I stopped going to the gym. My
Mm,
skin tone doesn't work in my neighborhood, but that's a whole
mm,
different conversation.
mhm.
What is your favorite part of your work and your least favorite?
My favorite part of my work. Um, so when it comes to media, my favorite part is sharing those untold and unheard stories. I have so last month, May was National Mental Mental
The mental health month.
Mental
A
Health,
lot to me.
but it was for minorities. So it was Mental Health Awareness Month for minorities, and it was also National Stroke Awareness Month. And
Right.
so I had this lady on. Her name is
I saw
Hyville
that
Davis
interview.
Ferguson.
They need to watch that.
And when I tell you, that was the most emotional interview I have ever done in my life.
So,
And just hearing her story broke my heart, but it gave me some sense of value as well because I was able to share it with my audience, and hopefully people shared it with their audience and so on and so on. But she shared an important message of making sure that you are taking care of your heart health
yeah.
and paying attention to the signs and advocating for yourself and making sure that when you are in the doctor's office, if you feel some type of way, like don't just dismiss whatever it is that they're telling you. If you know within yourself that this is something that's wrong, like you have to advocate. And so this lady, again, founder of Heart Sisters, HEARTSISTAS Foundation, she ended up having two strokes, heart attack, quadruple bypass surgery, like all within the same time frame. And the part that really broke my heart was that she didn't realize she was having a stroke. She said my blood pressure was like 250 or 290 over something crazy. Like, girl, that is stroke level. And
Yeah.
so she said her daughter told her that she couldn't understand what her mom was saying. She said, the daughter had the wherewithal to call the aunt called the ambulance. And this lady, because we all have strong Black women syndrome from time to time, let the ambulance come. They took her blood pressure. They told her what it was. They told her she needed to go on the ambulance. And she said, no, that's not a part of my schedule.
My mother did the same thing and drove herself to the hospital in the middle of the stroke.
Girl, Girl, I broke down crying because for you to feel like you don't have any other choice but to continue in mom mode, to continue to do the things that are pressing, and all of them are for other people, and
Yeah,
with
there. Speak on it. Speak
your
on
health. She said, I sat there and I finished my meal and went to sleep
it.
and did
Jesus.
not go to the hospital. And so as a result, of course, she ended up going. They told her she had a stroke, another stroke, a
Yeah.
heart attack.
The many TIAs and yeah. Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's what I love about what it is that I do. I get a
I
chance
love
to
seeing
talk.
stories like that. I thank you
Yeah.
for being brave and bold enough to share those experiences and then relatable experiences so that people of color can. I could tell people about my mother and her strokes, and I could do that forever. But when people can see a story
Yeah.
of survival and
Yeah.
he made it,
She made it.
he
She's
was
still here.
there to talk to you about it.
And I actually got that question. Someone on my TikTok was like, is she alive? Did she still make she's still alive? This is where you can find her. Yes, she is. And thank God she is alive because she's able to tell us her mistakes, right? And so one of the other things that I didn't get a chance to share about her story was that she said before she had this stroke, her eating habits basically foretold the story. And she said every Friday she would go get a rack of ribs, barbecue ribs,
Jesus. Oh,
and eat them every
okay.
Friday.
As soon as I hear that 7 day window, so it's only you can't digest that in 7 days. You can't eat a rack of ribs, but you can
I might share that. I
digest.
might have that clip cut up and share it just so
Okay.
because Fourth of
Yeah.
July is coming up. I'm just
Yeah, it's so important to get that Juneteenth. Please get out there before Juneteenth because in Texas, the eating is going to be. No, I'm not coming. No, that's not this. They can be like, "Oh, she's so serious on her Manjaro." Yeah, not this year. Because the food is going to be too good, and I know what happens when the food is that good. Please
Mhm.
share that.
Yeah, I
because
think I
that you
will.
cannot digest that in 7 days.
She said I would go every Friday
Makes
and
it
get
cheese.
a rack of ribs. And then she said to, after she went through the things that she went through, she said she started saving the $45, I believe it was, that she would take to get the ribs. And she started putting that in a savings account. And so now every time she
My
thinks about
DoorDash
it,
money.
yes, now every time she thinks
That can
about it,
relate.
she
Uh-huh.
saves some money. So good for her.
I
But
love
yeah,
that. Thank you for sharing that one because that was so important. It's an overlooked thing. The food is all the microbiome, gut health.
yeah, yeah.
If everyone goes there,
Mhm.
what advice would you have for someone wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Girl, so before we go there, I just wanted to say that's all of the stories that we referenced here are on my TikTok as well as my Instagram, all of my platforms. So revelence.com, revelence.com. My YouTube is Revelence. My IG is I am Porsha Monique. And you can find me Porsha Monique.
And
Thanks
you're
for
okay with sharing in the stories. I do have creators that tell me, "Why did you share that my thing in your stories? I didn't know that that
oh,
offended people."
that's
And I'm like,
why that's
I
why
thought
the
that's why they
stories are
created stories.
out there. Like, what are you, girl? Nobody's trying to take credit for your work. Like,
Mm-mm, mm-mm. No,
so
I just like to share. I see something phenomenal, and I think other people need to know.
see, those are haters. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
even address. A lot of times, I'm not even speaking to a hater. Like,
right.
girl, get out my doggone
Yeah,
inbox. Anyway,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
so what advice would I give to someone wanting to follow in my footsteps? At the end of the day, um, a lot of people ask, "What's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret?" The secret is doing the work. Like a lot of people want to skip that step. The secret
Mhm.
sauce, the path to success is in doing the work,
Right.
not hiring somebody to do the work for you. Of course, when you are scaling, you have to do that.
Right.
But you have to do your own work. Like there's no substitute for it. No one can do it for you. There are no shortcuts. Take the stairs, stay off the elevator, and I apply that to every area of my life. Like even with the working out, like this has really been a 2-year journey, and I'm really just now starting
Okay,
to see the results. Like a
that's
lot of
it.
people think it's popcorn, but no. And then they say, well, which GLP drug are you on? I'm not. And no shade to anyone who is, right? Because
They
it's
get upset when they find out I'm on the low dose GLP-1. Like, why won't you just get on the high dose? Because I have a black woman doctor and she
right,
does not believe in going the fast path for something that took me years to do. And now I all of
exactly.
a sudden want to take it off fast. That's not how she operates. She doesn't want the
Exactly.
muscle hanging on my body and on my face and on my stomach.
Mm-mm,
So
mm-mm.
she's slow 5 milligrams. And if I like it or not, she does not care.
Listen, do the
So
work.
do
Like
the
you
work.
have to do the work. And like
Mhm.
you said,
Mhm.
you're working out, you're consistent, you continue to do it, even though you're on a low dosage, you still continue to do it. And that's what I would say to people, excuse me, who are looking to do anything, create, build, have their own business, work out, whatever it is. Excuse me, let me drink some water, y'all.
That's okay. I knew I couldn't get in a law firm without taking the weight off. Just where I live, Texas, Colorado. So I because I worked in a law firm when I was plus, I know
Hmm.
what it was like those experiences in those buildings. So I know that to go further in the career, I know what it's going to take. So the weight has to come off. There's just some
Any type of industry where you're working with people and you're either taking their money or providing that type of service, a legal service, financial
paralegal
services.
directly in the client's faces. You're not going to be chubby, girl.
Yeah, well, listen, it's not gonna go over well, right? It's
No,
just not.
no, it doesn't.
Um, and so there are no shortcuts. Do the work. That's it. But at the end of the day, do the work.
That's right. I like that. I like that. And thank you for saying it just like that because no, people want the secret to fast and there is not one. I want to get your professional opinion on current events and current events.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
for us, and I don't want to lead you in any direction that you don't want to go.
I
So,
mean, okay. So the obvious one is, I don't know why I'm coughing all of a sudden.
That's been me out dry all day, and it's the strawberry moon tonight, you guys. East Coast, you guys are going to see it even more than us here in Texas. Strawberry moon, 8 p.m. Last time seen 2006, coming up again after this 2043 or something like that. And I think it brought something in the air. But anyway, that's so off topic.
Um, yeah, it's okay. Thank you, because I needed the break. I wouldn't be choking to death on your show.
That's okay.
Girl, these emails starting to come in. But the most obvious one is what? Diddy.
The Sean P. Diddy Combs trial, which has taken my podcast in that direction since May 5th.
Listen.
It has so many questions. So it's a popular topic.
At the end of the day, I didn't think that there could be anything else. Why am I choking? I'm sorry, y'all.
That's okay. You guys, make sure that you follow. I am sharing this on the link on Instagram and on TikTok and Facebook so that you know directly how to follow Porsha Monique.
Okay.
And I am going to get you some additional links and things in the stories also so you guys can click on them and watch the interviews.
Thank you. So of course I do my podcast according to Porsha. So I've touched on this for probably the last couple of weeks. And I think last week I may have said something to the effect of, I don't think anything else could shock us. Like at this point, like we're just numb to anything else that comes out of this trial, right? So he just angled someone over the ledge allegedly. He bombed somebody's car allegedly. Now they're saying that he's linked to unaliving people allegedly. I'm like, okay, nothing else can surprise
The world's worst boyfriend.
What was that?
The world's worst boyfriend.
Oh, girl. Right.
At this point.
And remember back in the day, we all was like, oh my God, we want to go to a Diddy party. No, we good. But something came out within the last couple of days, and I just couldn't believe it. And it wasn't anything that was so overly shocking,
Right.
but it was to me. I've never done drugs. Like I don't know what it is to
I just don't know the experiences. I'm not judging those that have.
And I'm not judging those that have, because from what I hear, you get really creative. And then, when you take certain drugs, it helps with sex. That's fine. If that's your thing, it's your thing. But I think Jane Doe, who a lot of people are alleging to be Gina Hung, however you pronounce her last name, I don't want to butcher it. Yeah. But somebody said that, and I read a story that said that she was injecting drugs into her nipples, and I'm like, girl, you couldn't find another.
Now I didn't understand the process until I watched Wendy Williams' documentary where she said she would inject hers into the middle of her toe.
So I've seen and heard that before, right?
See it, but
yeah.
Nipple.
I'm like, nipples, like God gave you those so you can feed your babies, and you just girl.
That's what I said. There's something in the atmosphere. There is a paradigm shift to take us far away from that. I felt really good at the end of the BET Awards last night because people are doing things, and I'm like, if I decided to doubt the Bible at any point in my life of being raised in it, I'm no longer having any more questions.
Yeah.
I'm tuned into what actually is happening. And it's spiritual in nature for sure. That's some really very off stuff. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Our time. Man.
So
excellent conversation.
Excellent conversation. And just to wrap that up, I think that they're going to find them guilty. A lot of people are saying, on what charge? Racketeering, kidnapping, kingpin, running a RICO enterprise, like all of that. I think they have enough to convict on that. But I also think at the end of the day, Trump is just going to give them a pardon.
Or this judge is going to go mistrial. I didn't expect that delay tomorrow. And
I didn't see that.
He asked for a delay, and so no one will be going in the courtroom and at 9 a.m. like this has been happening. They're
Okay.
not expected to come in the courtroom until a couple hours because the prosecution didn't respond by Monday to what they needed to contribute to Brian Steele's mistrial request. They have
Mm,
responded. They've given. He denied the prosecution bringing Dr. Hughes back to the stand,
mm,
and when he did that, I said, oh. And he also is pulling possibly juror 6. He took that part where he turned off the mics, cameras, everything. So we weren't able to hear what happened in closed chambers with juror 6. But you already know what that looks like in a trial, to pull a new juror on in the middle with too far in to bring a new juror in. So mistrial will not mean for Sean P. Diddy Combs that he won't have to face this again, but it
right.
could very much mean that they need to start over.
Okay. Okay. Well, I I didn't see that today. I've
Mhm.
been heads down
He said
on.
he will give the answer by this week, but does have a delay in court starting tomorrow, so he may give that answer of his yes or no by tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. So ever and never ending, ever changing. We'll find out. But at the end of the day, I promise you, we don't have to know another thing
Mhm.
about
And I
anything
used
that.
to have a horrible statement that I used to hear. People will probably hear 2010 on my podcast. You may have heard me say, so if you're listening to old podcasts and you heard me say, Diddy and Russell Simmons are mentors of mine. Listen, I grew up. Also, I've heard things and seen things that no one was aware. If we were aware, we wouldn't have said things like that. We were not aware of the things that are coming out in this trial. And it's a learning curve, and it's a very painful thing to hear for the culture. For those of us who just admired his business. It was just a business for me. I
Yeah.
didn't care about what the parties. I cared about the way that he was so structured, and the way that he could get a deal done and make business happen and create careers of people that I love, like Mary J. Blige and Keisha Cole, and I could just go on and on. So
Right. And now you look at them with a different perspective because it's like one of my favorite films is Dreamgirls with Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson,
that is, yeah.
and one of the lines that Jennifer Hudson says as Effie is, "What did you put out to get in?"
Right.
And so
Right.
now that's the lens that I'm looking at the entertainment industry in,
And
because at the end of the day, there's a cost to success. And
yeah,
so whether it's very overtly and you see it and something happens, or it happens behind the scenes, there's still a cost to it. And now we're seeing that whatever was happening behind those scenes, it
it's
was
a
a
lot.
hefty price
It's
to
a
pay.
lot.
So
It's a lot. And recovering, I can't even imagine what the recovery is like. It's mental health month. For I switched over to a black therapist in my life, and
yeah.
he's a guy, so my life hasn't been the same since. So I just highly encourage anybody that has been in the industry. I hope you do see the sign that if you weren't able to get in those doors, I hope that God has shown you the why now for anyone
Yeah.
following.
That misdirection was God's blessing.
Yeah.
So let it go, because and when you just I'm just praying for everybody involved, even his kids. Like at the end of the day, he is a dad, and one
And
of
I'm a
my
Kim Porter fan. Those are the babies. It's hurt, like
right.
it hurts.
And one
It
of my favorite sayings is karma don't ever miss anyone. And I believe that wholeheartedly with my chest, with my
That's it.
soul. Karma
That's it.
don't ever miss
And
anyone.
never
And so
miss.
when you see stuff like this in the fallout and you're like, oh, I just think that's karma's way of saying I remembered. And here you go.
Yeah. And hoping that the Kim Porters and the Cassies and the Mias, the Janes, the missing witness, all of y'all out there that are having these experiences, please know that there are so many people ready to help you, especially after this trial.
Yeah.
Founder of Revelence Media, Porsha Monique. You guys, I am Porsha Monique is the way you find her. Tell us the podcast one more time.
According to Porsha, and all of the episodes from According to Porsha can be found on my website. They can also be found via clips on social media. YouTube is Revelence dot, I think it's Revelence Media. Wait a minute, yeah.
I like the new babies. I love the birthing of the new babies because, yeah. But
Yeah.
you show such professionalism. You have brought complete excellence, and I can't tell that it's new. I don't, and I'm seeing your journey transition from rolling out to this, and it still feels like what you're doing now has been around for a very long time. It's so put
Oh,
together. So
thank you.
I admire it. I love it.
So, I will be remiss if I didn't give credit where credit was due. And so at the end of the day, my teachers, including Munson Steed, have been excellent at making sure like that trial by fire, like that, you learned how to swim
Yep.
by jumping in the water.
Yep.
For me, it has worked. It don't work for a lot of people, but
Right.
he has truly been
He's Black excellence indeed, though. Yeah.
we had to learn quick. You baby, you sinking or you swimming?
And then he was getting y'all ready for what this world is, because content creators trying to cover the Diddy trial, we have learned that the media world is not something we all want to really deeply be that
No,
much of a part of. It's
no,
scary,
it's
terrifying.
scary. It's scary. So, yeah. So kudos to him. Shout out to him. He definitely paved the way, and he's giving back and pouring into me. So I'm grateful and appreciative of that. So everything that I'm doing, I really did learn through experience, and so I'm excited. I want to give back. I want to make sure that I'm pouring into other people and helping to build others' dreams. So I am here. Reach out. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I don't check my DMs that often. Like I really should. But I will eventually get to it. So send me a DM.
In God's time. It's in God's time. For you have no
Listen,
idea. You had a morning gym morning, and you said, ask and you shall receive. And that was one of your messages a few days ago. And I said, why haven't I've had Romeo, I've had, King James on. Why haven't I had Porsha on? And I said, well, let me ask, because I don't think I've done. I just see you're busy. And I said, well, let me just ask. I had no idea I'd get a yes.
girl,
Grateful.
yes,
But
yes.
that was
You have
advice
not
I
because
needed.
you ask not. And so the message of the day, it just is just start
Yeah,
asking more. Just
that's
start
it.
asking
That's
more,
it.
y'all.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank
So,
you
but
so
I'm
much.
glad that you did. I'm glad that
Yeah.
you did because I had a great time here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming. And you guys, Conversation with Dee Shields, a miniature series. We have the great coming. He is managing the career of Drew Sidor and a host of Drew Sidor projects. And he's a good friend. First, he's coming to have a conversation next. So I hope you guys will come back. Portia, you're phenomenal. I admire you. I'm learning something. I can take it in the paralegal world, and you don't have any idea like what you do is going to help me in that new career that's scary and terrifying. And we'll talk about that in another time.
Girl, just do it. You do it afraid, do it scared, do it anyway. Like, a lot of the times in my messages of the day at 5 a.m., I'll be talking to myself too. And so I recall one of the times I did say, you just have to do it. Like do it anyway. The one lady who I interviewed, and she blessed me immensely, and this will be the last thing that I say. Tamika Holyfield. She is the creator of the All-Star Gospel Celebration. It's been going on for 18 years. That's during All-Star Game, of course, NBA.
Yeah, very busy time.
This
Yeah.
baby told
Wow.
me, y'all, she said, I asked her secret to success or something like that. And she was saying that her second year doing the event was really, really rough. But she pushed through, she persevered, and she did it again. And then she did it again. And then she did it again. She said, you can't get to year 18 without doing it again. And that was her message.
Yeah.
The favor is in the again. So continue to do it again and again and again and again.
Wow. And
And
just
so, yeah,
life
do
is full circle. All Stars Dallas with the USO, with the soldiers and the veterans. Unforgettable experience. And to know that a Black woman was behind that, that's the
it.
story I needed to hear. I love
Go look at her YouTube on it is Revelence Media. So REVELENCE because we revel in excellence. Go look at her YouTube long form video. It's out there. It's so inspirational.
wow.
She
Wow.
had me about to shout. I'm from the
Yeah.
Church of God in Christ, y'all.
Respect
She
it. I
had
love
me here about to shout and sing and
it.
do all of that
I
because
love
it was
it.
so inspirational. But
We will
yes.
definitely check it out. And thank you once again for coming. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Dee Shields. This was great.
No
Anytime.
problem.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.